best day of the school week, you're about to get a front row seat to world headlines without a single commercial. In other words, CNN Student News. I'm Carl Azus. First up, the giant American flag was recovered in the aftermath of the September 11th attacks in New York City. That was a little over 9 years ago, the same day that Christina Green was born. She was one of the victims of a shooting last Saturday in Tucson, Arizona. So the flag was raised in Christina's honor, with those who knew and loved the girl walking past it on the way to a service to remember her. 5 other people were killed in the shooting. Speaking at a memorial service for all of them on Wednesday night, President Obama said he wanted America to be as good as Christina envisioned it.
Here on this earth, we place our hands over our hearts, and we commit ourselves as Americans to forging a country that is forever worthy of her gentle, happy spirit. May God bless and keep those we've lost in restful and eternal peace. May He love and watch over the survivors, and may He bless the United States of America.
Arizona Representative Gabrielle Giffords is a survivor of the shooting. She's one of 6 people still in the hospital and the only one in critical condition. Wednesday, Giffords opened her eyes for the first time since the shooting and gave her husband a sign she could hear him. Australia isn't the only country dealing with ravaging floodwaters right now. We're going to take you to Brazil, South America, a nation in its summer rainy season, rains that are out of hand in some places. We want you to look at this. Families that are in extreme risk of being washed away. This includes people in the mountains and people near riverbeds as landslides, mudslides, and rising waters leave thousands homeless. Around 400 people have died. Many are missing. Some families are living in schools and gyms. In some spots, the only dry areas you can see are roofs and treetops. And more rains are in the forecast. The country's government is taking some heat for poor disaster planning and allowing people to build homes in dangerous mountain areas. This is what happens when Europe's most famous volcano gets active. Tremors started rumbling in Italy's Mount Etna on Tuesday. By Wednesday, you can see what was going on. The volcano is on the island of Sicily, about 18 miles from the nearest town. It may be spewing ash, but it doesn't seem to be threatening anyone at the moment. That wasn't the case in 1669, the date of Etna's most violent eruption, which killed 20,000 people.
See if you can ID me. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1929. My name was changed from Michael King when I was 5 years old. In 1964, I became the youngest person at the time to win the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., one of the most famous figures in the U.S. civil rights movement.
Many consider Martin Luther King the face of the civil rights movement. Between 1957 and 1968, King traveled over 6 million miles and gave more than 2,500 speeches. His message, equality through nonviolence. Dr. King organized boycotts and protests. He worked with presidents on creating civil rights laws. And in 1963, he helped lead the March on Washington, where Dr. King gave his famous "I Have a Dream" speech. In that, he discussed his vision for a world where people would be judged by their character rather than their skin color. On April 4th, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated in Memphis, Tennessee. 4 days later, the idea of a federal holiday honoring him was first introduced in Congress. That proposal became law in 1983, and the first nationwide observance of the Martin Luther King holiday was in 1986. The holiday is on the 3rd Monday of January every year, which is this coming Monday, January 17th. Many people use it as an opportunity to help out with community service projects. For everyone, it's a chance to remember Dr. King's dream and the legacy that he left in his work to achieve it. Pizza sticks, tater tots, and hot dogs. The government wants those off your school lunch menu and replaced with foods like chef's salad, baked sweet potato fries, and whole wheat spaghetti. It's a new proposal from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, part of the Obama administration's efforts to cut down on childhood obesity. Healthier foods often cost more, so the government plans to help poorer schools pay for the changes. Critics say it shouldn't be up to the federal government to decide what schools are allowed to serve, that it's a state or local issue. The rule would limit calories for school breakfasts and lunch if it takes effect, you could see changes several months down the road.
Today's shout out goes out to Mrs. Goodman's journalism students at Grassfield High School in Chesapeake, Virginia. What is the atomic symbol for gold? You know what to do here. Is it AG, AU, GO, or HG? You've got 3 seconds. Go. The Latin word for gold is aurum. That's why its symbol is AU. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
Gold, money, and dreams, a dangerous combination that has been the downfall of many and the success of a few. The California gold rush of 1849 doesn't scratch the surface of gold's historic lure. Ancient Egyptians and Etruscans wore it. Entire currencies were based on it. But why gold instead of other metals? Well, it doesn't tarnish, it doesn't corrode, it's easy to work with, to melt down, to shape, and it's very hard to destroy. Poppy Harlow takes us far underground where modern miners cash in on methods that their predecessors didn't even dream about.
Your self-rescuer is going to go probably on your right-hand side.
We're gearing up to go 2 miles deep into one of the biggest gold mines in the country.
I can't believe we're 2 Empire State Buildings down below the surface of the earth.
And we still have quite a ways to go. Hunting for gold goes all the way back to 4000 BC, and today the obsession continues. Here in Barrick Gold's Cortez mine in rural Nevada, more than 1 million ounces of gold were mined last year alone. That's over $1 billion worth.
Geology has figured out where the pod of ore is, and then they just point us toward it.
But finding gold these days is much more complex and expensive than just, well, panning for it. In fact, you can't even see the gold in this mine.
I mean, it's amazing to me to think that this is gold, but it is.
Yes.
It's right here.
Yes. You can't see it. It's microscopic.
Miners have to drill and blast through layers and layers of rock to reach the gold.
There's gold in this, and what I'm going to do is turn this into a pile of muck.
It looks like dirt, but muck is actually gold ore, tiny particles of gold that will eventually make up a gold brick.
I'm going to get about 10 truckloads out of here, 10 ounces of gold, 10 to 15 at $1,400 an ounce. And we'll do this several times during a day's work.
Not bad money.
Not bad money.
So after the gold ore is mined, about 400 tons of it goes in massive trucks just like this one. Of that, only 4 ounces is pure gold. It's taken, it's crushed, then it's taken in the mill, and then it's refined.
After the ore is crushed and ground, we leach the gold out. From there, we put it into a pressure cooker environment, high temperature and pressure, with various chemicals, and it pulls the gold out. And this is the final step before pouring the gold bar.
Barrick mines gold for around $300 an ounce, and gold is selling for record highs around $1,400 an ounce. Those big margins mean jobs, something desperately needed in Nevada, a state struggling with the highest unemployment and foreclosure rates in the country.
I can provide for my family, and I don't know any other job in this world that I get paid for what I get paid and survive now these days, the way the prices are.
There's job security here with gold that high. Not going to run out of work.
With snow falling and daily temperatures in the 20s this time of year, ideas for outdoor activities can come to a stalemate. But not for a pair of local artists in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Someone had this kingly idea for them to sculpt an ice chess set. Don't know how long they pondered the proposal, but it took over a month and a half for them to piece this together and let the game begin. Something people can play by day and by nights. A board to keep freedom in check, mate. I'm Carl Azus, and our next move is going to be January 18th. We want you to enjoy the Martin Luther King holiday, and we will see you next Tuesday. Bye-bye.